Hey everybody, Zid Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and today, with this episode of the Typical Manga Review, we are going to be going over Attack on Titan, Chapter 71, Bystander. And we open with the Survey Corps, specifically Aaron, looking to see Instructor Shadis, Keith Shadis, their old drill sergeant, basically.
And former leader of the Survey Corps.
Yeah, did we know that before this?
Yeah,
I forget. Okay. Yeah, because if nothing else, this chapter confirms that he was Erwin's predecessor. Yeah. And it's actually noted that it's unusual because it's not usual for a living leader to pass it down to a successor.
Yeah, but he thought he was pathetic, so he gave it up to Erwin, who he thought was a better leader.
Yeah. It's kind of amusing here at the very beginning. It was like, apparently Shas is still scared of him.
I didn't notice that. Let's see.
Like, you're not going to sit? No, I'm going all right here.
Oh, he's like, some of you here, and it was in the past was to rake you over the coals. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, please do not kill Sasha off, just for the sake of comedy. Like, there's just some characters you shouldn't kill off just because they're not because they're quote unquote likable, but because they provide a sort of variety to the show. Well, that's really grim.
I don't think anyone's in any immediate danger at the moment, though.
Well, no, but I mean, I wish she could just last the entire month.
Yeah.
You know.
And Debbie knows that his generation last saw him about 5 years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, they talk about retaking Wall Maria, and then basically he says that Aaron reminds him of his mother, but that the fangs he's looking beneath is unmistakably his father's. Ooh, yep. What does it mean?
Yep.
And they basically like, tell me what you know. And okay.
Shad is actually pretty forthcoming on this. Like he doesn't really know anything really specific, like not what they're after, but he does tell him what he is aware of.
Yeah. So he found, as it turns out, he was out in outside the wall, being part of the Survey Corps, and he found Grisha, who's all like tattered clothing, and he's like, well, "What about you people? What are you doing outside the walls? You're not fighting, are you?" Which is actually an interesting idea he has. Like, he thought they were fighting. So I mean, did he just? So I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened. Why did he just come out? Why is he alone? Did he just eat like maybe another Titan shifter and happen to turn back into a human with that? And he was like a Titan all along or something.
It's hard to say. I mean,
like
if he did, then that would make that pull on the question of holding with the royal family that he did. But I don't know.
Yeah, like he knew things, but at the same time he was shocked. I mean, he's not acting; he's genuinely shocked.
Right, and he's not aware of what the Survey Corps is either. Like the guy tries to, like Shada started to tell him that his uniforms would mark him as that, but he's like, Survey Corps?
Yeah, they thought he was they obviously thought he was part of the human, people within the walls. But it's clear that he's from outside of the walls, and also the fact that he could turn into a Titan shows you that he's from the Titan Shifter village, or at least somewhere roughly around that.
Neat little side detail here, actually. I looked a little bit at the prequel manga before. Yeah. Like the one that's, I forget what it's called, like right offhand, but
like before the wall, before the wall,
before the fall. Thank you.
Before the fall, yeah.
And like apparently one of their punishments there was like they would exile people outside of the walls, which is essentially a death sentence for obvious reasons. Yeah,
but now it's actually a crime to get out of the walls, which is interesting.
That's true. Come to think of it, you're right. I didn't thought about that part. Anyway, they take Grisha Jaeger to the jail, and they assume he's some drunken man to get drunk and head outside the walls.
And they thought he was suicidal, like some suicidal debtor who, but
it's like, it's kind of interesting. Like they say that's the first time they've ever had to exercise the law about actually leaving the walls without permission.
Yeah, because no one actually wants to go outside. But the fact that law exists is actually interesting because of course, the whole Big Brother concept, right? You want to control everyone and keep them close to you. But they basically talk about how he was actually interested about people and the history and everything, as if he was a foreigner, which shows you that he doesn't seem like the average human.
Like, in fact, we even know that Grisha Jaeger is not his real name. I don't know if that's like a name they gave him or not, but like the first time they say it, it's got little quotation marks around it. Okay, here he says, "Are you going to keep calling yourself by that name, even if that doesn't even show up on the birth registers?"
Okay, so it's not a fake name; it's just a name that he has in his head.
Yeah, and that doesn't remember being a doctor.
Yeah. So, am I ahead of you? Oh no, I'm not. No. So yeah, they're talking a bit, and they say, "Oh wow, while there may be an economic disparity, there's peace inside the walls." And it's like you're not even living in fear of the Titans. So it's interesting that he thinks that he thought that they were afraid. He thought they would, that there was chaos in here. So interesting that he has. It shows you that he's definitely 100% outside. There's no mistake about it.
Oh yeah. And he thinks that it's a good thing that people are able to live without fear.
Yeah. And then he talked about the survey corps and says, you guys go outside and talk about survey corps a bit. I don't want to go into the details, but basically, Shadow's face says, do you think we seem stupid? But because we're basically going out into the outside the walls, show an example, and basically says, that they should be afraid of the Titans. And he's like, do you think we are, we're idiotic to you? And he's like, nope, you're brave. And why is there anyone else inside the walls? And it's the living proof. You guys are living proof of the human imagination and that the soul is free. You're the pride of humanity. And it's amazing because remember, Shadow has an inferiority complex, right? So he's like, this is the guy telling him, no, you are not inferior. You actually have something that's actually better than everyone else.
Yeah. And
then of course, who comes along? The barmaid, aka Carla, Aaron's mother.
Soon to become Carla Yeager.
Yeah. And she's the barmaid, which honestly, I didn't expect her to see him in this position, just because I always saw her as a housewife. It's kind of weird seeing her actually, do
before that,
be younger, have more spunk.
Yep.
And he's like, she's basically like, don't recruit him into the survey corps. And he's like, no, I wouldn't be of any. And Christian's like, I wouldn't be of any use. They need someone more special, more chosen individuals. That they just basically, he's making Shadows like, holy shit, I actually feel important.
Like he's actually making them respect his own job, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Of course, nobody else seems to have that feeling because obviously, these oversight people are just going over his case over the massive losses and casualties he suffers.
And it's like, I think they're like, wait, did they compare him to Irwin yet? Not yet. But then, okay, and then there was a point where there was a disease that everyone had. Carla had it too, and then Grisha cures everyone. It's amazing. So yeah, and Keith was helping out, which is interesting. And how you see Carla and Aaron and Aaron's dad Grisha bonding. Yeah, I keep wanting to say Aaron's dad instead of Grisha because that's how I always called him.
Yep, and this seems to be kind of triggering something for Shadis as well.
Did he? No, did he have feelings for?
That's what I took that implication.
Did he?
Yeah. And then,
I don't want love triangles, even if they're really short and not really important, not really how much of a point. It's just still, I don't know.
I mean, go back to where Carla first appears. He's stuttering when talking to her.
Did he? Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Anyways,
okay. I guess they are. He did have a thing for her.
And look at him during the picture of the wedding. He's just kind of looking at them. Look at his face.
Yeah, I thought he was pissed off because he thought that Aaron. He was put off by Grisha's personality rather than the fact that they actually just because of the marriage itself. But yeah, now you put the point of that out. I was like, yeah, you're right. He was. I don't know. I don't like love triangles, which is probably why I kind of subconsciously decided not to look at it that way. But now that you point it out, it's like, yeah, you're right. He probably did have a thing for Carla, and so he saw them get married, and the fact that he basically has almost so much pressure as a commander. I mean, things are not going so good for him. And then Irwin comes along, makes up this new long-range scouting formation that basically minimizes casualties, if not, have no one die in this specific situation.
Yeah, but Shadis isn't really paying attention to it. He's saying, just try it when you're commander, then.
Yeah, but everyone's saying, we need to replace. They're basically saying too bad we can't get a new commander. So basically saying we need to replace Shadis, or at least we want to, because people still die with Shadis in charge.
Meanwhile, it says here Aaron Scott has not lost a single member.
Yeah. Oh, I already said that, but
Oh, you didn't? I didn't hear you say that particular part.
Okay. Carla
with little baby Aaron.
Yeah, and he's like, he's my son, but did you not know? It's like, oh no, I was busy, and he's like, my husband was already blah blah. And then she basically says, are you going to keep doing this until you die? She calls him Mr. Keith, which is actually kind of interesting.
That's probably just because it says Keith-san in Japanese.
Oh, I don't know, because they usually... they say san to everyone, don't they? Usually. I mean, it's only when you're really close. I mean, sorry?
Women in particular are usually going to do that, even if it's among other girls or other women, so yeah.
But I thought san was literally everyone, and if you were to say someone's name without the title, it's either they're really close or you just hate them. You want to disrespect them, even for guys. So it's kind of weird that they actually translated that for Carla specifically, because technically speaking, Aaron and Mikasa and Armin are all doing that.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. There's the whole time baby Aaron's pretty much grabbing her, eating her hair.
Maybe she says Sama. Maybe because in actuality she says Sama.
Maybe
because Sama can mean something more respectful, and maybe in this case they say Mister. I heard it being used called for Lord more often, but who knows? I just think it's interesting that they decide to keep her consistent with her. But anyway, so she says, he tells her you know why average men are unable to accomplish anything? It's because of lack of imagination. They never find anything valuable beyond their own lives, and so they live on producing nothing, yet never feeling anything to be ashamed of. They basically don't do anything. He's saying they're unproductive. So basically,
Ooh, hang on a second. Is that on the page? Was it here? Like, page 29, where we see him like kneeling in front of an old woman. Is that from chapter 1?
Yeah, it is.
I didn't realize that was him.
No, it was him.
Okay.
No, everyone knew that.
I never, like I said, I don't pay super strict attention there, so I missed that one there.
Yeah, it was him.
That's apparently like when he gives it over to Erwin as commander.
Yeah. This is actually most of the fans kind of knew that implication because he was very sad and very depressed about it, and the fact that Erwin's a lot stronger shows you that it was implied the moment you saw him as the instructor and he was no longer the commander that event was one of the biggest reasons why he decided to step down, because that people lost and he let it affect him.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean obviously you probably missed that, but a lot of people did see that. So plus people on Twitter and the voice actor was like, yeah, no, those two are the same guys. So
yep. Yeah, he's like, special people do exist. It's just that I wasn't one of them.
Yeah. And basically, he's like, nothing more than... Oh, wow. And he says, not by worthless individuals who do nothing more than ingratiate every man they see, pouring them drinks. Oh. So basically, he called her this.
Oh, okay. I got a bit ahead of things there. Yeah, okay. Like where he's kind of telling off Carla.
Yeah, wow. So anyway, and then you talk about how he let Erwin took over, and then when Mario has fallen, we go back to that flashback where we see it from Aaron's dad's point of view, Grisha, and how basically the mom is Carla's dead. He wanted to go find Carla, badly, and he wanted to apologize for how rude he was, but it turned out that
it's already too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Which is interesting because the last time I saw them, oh no, never mind. They're already in the refugee camp. Okay, I was like, where's the other guy who saved them?
And kind of what we see right here is like at hearing the news, like Shada's like just drops to his knees in despair.
Yeah.
Grisha just tells him to go get revenge.
Yeah, because he's more active and he's like, Grisha's the type of guy who's like, you gotta take a hold of everything for yourself, And he's like, what are you're gonna make that child do it for you? Why don't you avenge Carla yourself? And he's like, after all, you're special, not like me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what if the child's not special? What if he's not like you? What are you gonna do? If he's gonna be like, if he doesn't turn out to be the person you expect him to be. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, the child isn't like you. He's my child. And he's like, don't get involved.
I can't tell if it's being dismissive or like.
Yeah, I can't tell either.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's dismissive.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But he one of the biggest parts about his the thing about the people with inferiority complexes is that one of the biggest parts about the inferiority complex is actually having it. So
right. And so you'll like interpret things in a certain way, even if it's not necessarily meant that way.
Exactly. The fact is chances are maybe he is the best. Maybe Erwin is better, but maybe he was like the best before Erwin, right? But he doesn't see it that way.
Yeah.
And that in itself makes him, inferior. By having the inferiority complex, you actually do make yourself become inferior. It's like mind makes matter type of thing, right?
Yep.
So.
Anyways, so we move on here. Like Shada sees like a big flash in the mountains, and
we all know.
Investigate.
Yeah, we all know what that is. That's Aaron eating his dad.
Yep. And he just takes Aaron back to the refugee camp, puts him back in bed, and that's all he knows from that point.
Yeah. So now he's like, is that all? Aaron's like, is that all? He's like, nothing else. He asks, nothing else. And he's like, now I understand why a courseman with as much experience as you no, that's Hanji. Okay, so Hanji.
Yeah, Hanji's telling him off at this point.
Yeah, Hanji's saying, so now I understand why a courseman with as much experience as you retired to this training camp to atone for. He's like, to atone for your men who died for nothing. No, it was out of feelings of obligation and inferiority to others. You care about whether or not you're special? What? So yeah, basically the fact that he was caring about special and normal, and that was bogging him down. So Hanji, what? German names, damn. Was it?
I'd say Hanji unless something tells us differently.
Yeah, but remember, that sounds Japanese. Remember, this is German, so I'll say Hanji.
Yeah, but I don't know how German pronunciation works in detail. So.
I only know one thing, which is that the second, two vowels, second one gets the long vowel. Anyway, so he's basically, she basically agrees with what I'm saying, that it's the very fact that he has the inferior complex is what makes him inferior, which makes him not great. You're here because you run away from that child from reality for a childish reason. And Levi tells him to stop it, but she keeps going. It's like, you don't need to decide whether or not this information is helpful to us. Don't bring your feelings of inferiority into this. Ouch.
Of course, Eren kind of has the same thing going for him, though.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Eren's taking this as inspiration for him not to be like Shadis.
Well, not so much that. It's almost like he's taking this as confirmation of it there. But then...
Really? Well, let's see.
Like I said, the instructor's right. I wasn't special at all. It's just that was the son of a special man. In the end, that was the only reason I was given the power of the Titans. I'm glad I can be sure of that.
Oh,
now.
yeah, you're right, yeah.
And then, but then Shadis goes on to talk about what Carla told him before.
Okay, yes. And okay, then that was what made him smack. Okay, there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I was about to say some Hannish stuff, but she basically criticizes him even more. And you're right, Eren does seem to take that as confirmation. But then he tells him about what she said to him, which was, do you have to be special? Do you have to recognize people recognize you? No, at least not when it comes to Eren, because he doesn't need to become great. Why does he have to be better than everyone else? Just look at him.
Yeah, and also, real quick, on chapter 42, he's got a really beefy hand right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, just look at him. Don't you see how cute he is? He's already great because he was born into this world.
Yeah, so, Eren, so 3 years earlier, he saw the fire in Eren's eyes, and it turns out, big reveal to everyone who watched the anime and, has been reading the manga, that it was Shadis who sabotaged his 3D maneuvering gear.
Like during the training style there, yeah.
And he wanted to take Eren away from the battlefield because he didn't think it was the right place for him.
But Eren was just too determined to keep going.
Yeah, and that's why he was so quick to realize that there was something wrong with it, because he was the one who did it. Holy shit!
Yep. I bet a lot of people up till now, if they didn't already suspect him, were probably assuming he was one of the shifters.
Oh, well, they thought it was. Well, they just thought it was. I thought it was an accident. Like, because why would the shifters do it? Because they didn't know he was a shifter back then, right? Because they said, like, when Eren first came out, that was when the plan changed. So they didn't know he was a shifter back then. That's true. So I thought it was just like, this is just to show Eren's determination. It was probably like a bad maneuvering gear to begin with. But no, Shadis was the one who did it. And he said it was still nothing more than a bystander, which is, I've been powerless to change anything. But this is, unfortunately, okay, what this shows to me is this. Yep. Shadis is long gone. Like, he's in a place where he can't get out of it, Yeah,
he's like, it's too late. He can't break out of his own little cycle there.
But I think Eren can. I think that's why he sees that. And I hope, is he telling Eren this, or is he just thinking?
He's telling Eren about his mother.
Okay, well, that's good enough. So, but the fact that he's been nothing. Did he tell him that he sabotaged it?
I don't think so. At least
3 years earlier. Like, oh yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't. But he now sees that Eren's different. Eren can break it out. So maybe, now I think about it, it actually does bring into everything full circle. So now, I always criticize how Eren's been a bit of a whiner.
Yeah.
Maybe with this Shadis parallel, he's like, no, maybe he had to go through this to become stronger. To realize, what, I went through this inferiority complex shit. I now know that's not where I'm going to go. So if he goes through it now, he doesn't have to go through it later. So And the fact is, remember, he's not a perfect character. I mean, I will still criticize it when shit happens.
Yeah.
But now that it comes in full circle, now that we get something out of it, because remember, the character, we don't want him to be Gary Stu, right? We don't want him to be like Kirito. Yeah, a little hit sort of SAO there, but
Gesundheit there.
Yeah, but it's German, right? No, it's about about the flaws of the character and how he deals with it. Maybe we did talk about his little. Maybe he did whine too much, but he did whine a little too much. But we still get something out of it, and the fact that he is going to be strong out of this. I hope. The fact is, this is the last page of the chapter, right? I hope he gets something out of this, right? I don't want it to be anything longer. I hope this is the last time he becomes all whiny. Otherwise,
there might be some degree of it just as part of him being him, but I think we're past the worst of it now.
But I think he should just keep that to himself, or at least talk with Picasa about it, and not whine, not screaming out,
Or even Historia.
Yeah. Well, screaming at... Oh, talking with Historia, yeah. I mean, because he used to scream out how worthy he was. Oh, I'm worthless! Oh, I'm nothing! Eat me! But now he's just like, maybe he can talk about Mikasa, or Historia's like, I feel a little uncomfortable about this, but I think I can still do it. that type of situation where he's still maybe not perfect, but way better than yeah,
more angst and wanks.
And wanks and wings down. And that is what is not a Gary student. That's the guy who doesn't just walk through every single obstacle and so. I mean, look, it's easy to get on the side of a guy who just walks through all the obstacles, but it's not interesting. It doesn't provide depth, and I think this is what we're getting here.
Yep.
I just hope next chapter he forgets all this. You know what I'm saying? Like that something happens with writers that for some weird reason it seems like everything's going the right way, and then for next chapter it's just like, oh, he didn't get anything from it. I just hope that's not the case. But so far, I think he this is next chapter he's gonna be like, no, I what I want. I kind of wanted to see Aaron's reaction to how what Shadow said to him. Because the moment he said the flashback. But then he said it in the flashback. Then we went to another flashback. So we didn't get back to Aaron directly immediately. So we don't see his reaction to him telling Aaron that you don't have to be special. The fact that you're alive makes you special. Or being normal is okay. Being normal is special, or whatever.
Yeah, being normal is not wrong, basically.
Yeah. Right. So. Yeah, so I would have liked to see Aaron's reaction. I think, but I think that's just me wanting a little more because at the end, the way it ended still was pretty good.
Yeah, and like I said, there's plenty of room for it to build up a bit later here too. So, right, so I think that covers everything we had to say about this chapter. I don't really have much to add myself at this point.
Oh,
right.
I'll say this about Crunchyroll. Get your act together. I want to see if there's Inside Mario or not. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. We were waiting for that to come out. Like when we were doing our reviews for last week's chapters, like it said Inside Mario 53 was there, but then it disappeared.
I guess they made a mistake. It's like, oh, turns out because the author was doing happiness.
Yeah, he was doing happiness this week. So hopefully, I'm hoping that means we might see Inside Mario this week. I don't know.
Maybe. Just tell us, please.
Yeah. In any case, that's been Attack on Titan, Chapter 71, Bystander. Let's see. Like I said, this week, barring Inside Mario reappearing, we'll have, along with Attack on Titan, we'll have One Piece and Bleach. Yep. Meantime, go ahead and take us away.
Bye!